Good day, everybody. My name is Kevin Hogan, author of The Science of Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, 19 other books, totally translated now into 41 languages around the world. Today, gratitude. And does your gratitude influence the other person to do something for you? So, this year, a really nice piece of research was done to evaluate this question. And what happened was a professor at a university came up with a really cool idea. So what he did is he impersonated 100 different students on campus, and he sent emails to about 100 students each. And the email basically said something along the lines of, hey, here's a copy of my resume. Would you give me some feedback on it? Now, this email under the impersonated person's name came second immediately after another email came from the professor saying, hey, I'm going to be sending some people your way to give them some feedback on their resume. If you get a chance, go ahead and do it. So the professor sent it first, and then he, posing as these various students on campus, sent out emails with different names so they could randomly look at all the different possible names and all that kind of stuff and see if that would influence students to reply. Would they actually send the feedback? Turned out that about a third of all of the students sent feedback back to the student, actually professor, right? And that's pretty good. That's just for asking. So the professor wrote the guy an email and then followed up with the student writing the email, right? And a third of the time, just for asking, they said yes. Just goes to show what just for asking is. Now, when the professor sent to the next trial about 100 people, and he said roughly something along the lines of, hey, I want you to look at the student's resume. If you get a chance to give him some feedback, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so, and then the student he wrote as the student, he said, I'd really be grateful if you looked at this resume and give some feedback. Thanks, Kevin. Now, the difference is grateful and thank you versus no grateful and no thank you, okay? So, in other words, a sort of a neutral email, which got a third of the people to respond, a third of the students to evaluate, versus two-thirds of all of the students who got a gratitude email that said, would really appreciate it, I'd be grateful, thank you. Wow, so it doubled. Now these people obviously don't exist on campus. They were randomized names that were put together on the university server, and they were sent out, and the only difference was grateful and thank you. That was it. Grateful and thank you. And it doubled the return from a third to two-thirds of the people saying yes. But now, what is it? Is there an attitude of gratitude that's contagious or not? That was the next thing this very wise professor wanted to know. And so he did a study again. Second experiment this time was to take he took another 100 students that he was going to send emails to, and this time 25% responded. And then of the 25% of the people who actually did the request, he followed up with those 25% of the people with another name, another student supposedly, that obviously didn't exist, took 100 randomized names and followed up with those 25%, and it turned out that 55% of those people said that they would do it, and they did. They sent feedback back. So for a complete stranger, they get the email, they do the feedback quarter of the time. Then they receive another email a couple of days later, and it's from a different student, and this time 55% of the students do it. That's pretty good. Once again, doubling. So for the moment, it looks like it pays to tell your customer, your client, your friends, family, thank you, I'm grateful. And that's it for now. And by the way, I am grateful that you were here today, and I'll see you here next time.